Welcome to Charlie's Chat Room, your self-improvement, do-it-yourself go-to for important life hacks that put you in the best position to unwrap the best version of you. I'm Charlie, and we're ready to enlighten and empower. So pull up a seat and turn up the volume. Today, we're diving into a topic, and we're discussing killing people with kindness and putting petty in its place with grace. We're talking about maturity and empathy, y'all. So think of all the times someone has said something slick to you or sent a tone-laced text message, tried to ruffle your spirit with their unresolved drama. Now, the ego says, snap back, clap back, okay? Drag them respectfully. But the evolved self, the higher self, the healed you says, nah, we're going to rise above it and love through it. We're going to push through respectfully. Or the professional self says that this is not the time or place. We don't need to burn any bridges, or I need this deal to go through, or I need this contract signed, I need my paycheck, whatever it is that talks you off of that bridge, right? We've all been here before. So let me tell you a little story. Not too long ago, I found myself on the receiving end of someone's emotional expressiveness. And that's my kind way of saying an adult tantrum or an outburst, flat out. And there's nothing worse than having someone show out on you in the public, honey, in front of everybody. At least this time it resulted in a direct conversation. I can deal with directness, okay? Because the projecting, the passive aggressive shade, that is the absolute worst for me. Understand, it is nails on the chalkboard bad. I cannot stand passive aggressive behavior. Such a pet peeve for me. But moving on. Understand this. I had no desire to match the energy in this situation that I found myself in. There was no desire to have bigger emotions or ramped up outbursts to overshadow them or to fight back with them. There was no need for profanity or elevated tones. No aggression whatsoever. In this instance, I just simply paused, took a breath, listened, and I validated the other person's feelings without co-signing their behavior. Their frustration was met with my apology and a resolution. And guess what happened after that? They had to move on. Repeating the problem was asinine, and it started to make them look bad, essentially. Or at least they had to think about the entire situation, what they were saying, and what they were really mad about. Repeating the discrepancy became futile. It was so redundant. But sometimes we get so far into our frustration, and you have to understand, when people black out in their emotions, they're gone, And we go so far that we don't realize that our argument is limited. We only have that one thing or a few points to gripe about, and that's it. I've noticed that people like to stay in that feeling of heightened emotion at times, honestly. I've even done it myself. I'm mad right now. I want you to know it, and I'm going to stay like this. Crossed arms, plop down on the couch, mad. And in the past, I was in a relationship before, and I remember the gentleman asking me, how long are we going to be mad at each other? How long are we going to stay like this? How long should we be in this awkward feeling? And he was being serious and a little bit joking with me, poking at me. And it's funny today because we absolutely put these ridiculous time frames on being mad or being disappointed or giving the silent treatment out, you know? It would never suffice to immediately get over a feeling or a disagreement. There is some unwritten rule that anger must exist for at least a 24-hour period, up to 20 years, you know? It's just outlandish to think that we can't unpack the feelings right now, right here, and immediately resolve the situation. But the odd thing is, we often expect children to do it. Or shall I say, we expect children to do it all the time, really. People are always yelling at them or telling them, stop crying, get up, let's go, keep it moving, be quiet. Oh my goodness, the way we treat the children, my heart aches, really. And adults cannot be inconvenienced by a disgruntled child. And we definitely expect our men to suck it up and move on immediately. That is an entire podcast series on its own about how we disregard the emotions of our men. My heart really goes out to them as well. And in respect to our topic, I want to go over some de-escalation tactics / strategies for dealing with petty, for dealing with emotional outbursts, okay? So here's what you can say to people who are lashing out or being verbally expressive in a negative way towards you. You always want to have a calm voice. Understand? A calm voice. And you can say something like this. I can tell you're really upset, and I want to understand what's behind that. I'm open to hearing more when you're ready to talk about it without the tension. Or you can say something like, it sounds like you're really frustrated about what happened, and I hear that, and I want to understand more. Why this works. People often escalate when they feel ignored. A simple acknowledgement can diffuse tension because they no longer have to fight to be heard. The power of listening, y'all. I wrote a blog titled The Magnificent Power of Listening, and it has a part 1 and part 2. It taps into all things objective listening. I'll link it in the description below. Please go have a read. I highly recommend it. Moving on to the next strategy to kill pettiness is grounding the conversation with boundaries. I am huge on boundaries. You'll want to state that you're open to communication, but only if it stays respectful. This shifts the control back to the present and creates a safe space for actual dialogue between you and the emotionally heightened person, or both of you if you're both heightened, you know. So here's how you can approach the person. You can say something like this. I want to hear you out, but let's talk in a way that helps us both feel respected. I'm here to listen, not to fight. So why does this work, Charlie? It works because you affirm their right to express themselves. And you're also making it clear that chaos and disrespect are not welcome. Chaos and disrespect are not tolerated. Okay? And the last strategy I want to share with you is to ask a sincere question. Sincerity is so dynamic and so powerful. Again, most times people want to be upset. The yelling, holding on to the emotion, it all gives some of us purpose. Especially people who may be operating in the shallow. They need something to hold on to. So unfortunately, it's that frustration, that anger. However, a sincere question encourages reflection, not reaction. And it slows down the rant and invites self-awareness. What should I say, Charlie? Well, you can approach it like this. What do you feel is the heart of this for you? What's really bothering you right now? Or you could ask them, What can I do for you? Is there a way I can help you? And this question right here is really good. What do you need right now? I really love that question. I remember the first time I heard someone on a crisis team asking that question. What do you need right now? What can I do for you? I thought it was just so loving and absolutely sincere. And then the person on the receiving end of that question could not answer it, actually, and they just kept walking and rampaging around, unfortunately. But it was great. And they were in a place where I saw them understand that what they were doing was inappropriate, and they are just stewing and making up the scenario, so to speak. Or, and I won't invalidate the person's feelings because all of our actions have some underlying circumstance or reason. And I think this person just did not know how to find what was ailing them on the inside. And now they were in a place to actually stop and think about what it is that's bothering them and what the crisis team or the person asking them could do to help them out of that situation. And sometimes reflection is a very scary thing, and we don't want the help. Oh my goodness. We don't want the help. It's easier to hold on to the pain. The pain and the frustration seems more tangible than doing the work to think about what's hurting me, why is it hurting me, and what would make me feel better. So asking this sincere question, why it is helpful, why it works. Most anger is a cover for pain, as I just said. It's a cover for fear, or it's a cover up for disappointments. A thoughtful question can guide someone from reaction to reflection, and often into healing territory, or at least a place for resolve. So going back to my story, when I used these methods, I realized you don't have to dim your light or let someone drag you into lower vibrations to make a point. Your peace is a power move. You understand? Your kindness is not weakness. It's emotional intelligence in motion. Let me repeat. Your peace is a power move. So get active, people. Killing someone with kindness doesn't mean you're a pushover. It means you've mastered the art of choosing your response. Instead of reacting from woundedness, it means being bigger than the moment and braver than the petty. And here's the truth. Sometimes people don't need punishment. They need perspective. They need to be seen in their pain, even if their behavior is uncalled for. Validating someone's feelings is not the same as justifying their actions. Please believe that. It's just letting the storm pass without you getting drenched. So here's the takeaway today. When you feel triggered, pause. Ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be wise? Do I want to be petty or do I want to be powerful? Because your kindness has the power to disarm chaos. Your empathy can interrupt a cycle of pain. And your mature response can echo louder than any comeback ever could. So thanks for hanging out in Charlie's chat room today. If this episode hit home, please share it with someone who might be facing their own petty moment. Remind them they don't have to match energy when they can lead it. Until next time, stay kind, be grounded, and keep shining. Peace.